Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Kika and oh boy, today you are in for such a treat because this is something that I've never shared before on YouTube, and it's something that I constantly get requests on, and yeah, it's just something that I've never talked about before really, which is how I edit my YouTube videos. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. What I'm about to share with you is really a simple, like all the basic knowledge and tools when you're a complete beginner, when you want to edit videos and you want to learn how to edit videos in Adobe Premiere Pro. So that is what I've been using for now almost 3 years when I've been on YouTube, Adobe Premiere Pro. And if you don't have that Adobe Premiere Pro, or you're using maybe Final Cut or something, it's still pretty similar. But I mean, obviously, if you want to use some other software, maybe this video is not going to be that helpful. But if you are thinking about doing more videos and you want to start your own YouTube channel, I definitely recommend using Adobe Premiere Pro, because even though it might seem overwhelming at first, after you watch this video, you're going to see that it really isn't. And you only actually need very few tools to get started with it in the beginning. And now the reason I'm not making this video about, for example, iMovie or some kind of free software that you could use to edit your videos is that when I started, I really quickly found that it's very limiting using something as, for example, iMovie. So that's why I'm going more in depth. But again, I think you're gonna find so much value in this because I've really tried to simplify it, make it very, very accessible. We're not gonna go spend too much time with all the technical stuff. Of course, you can go into that later, and there's lots of resources and lots of videos that really explain it like super detailed what everything means, but I've never found that I really needed that. I just wanted to make videos as fast as possible, and this video is designed to do exactly that. So, you know, in the next, when you watch this video, in half an hour, you will know how to edit videos in Adobe Premiere Pro. So, and this video is from my masterclass, the Self-Taught to Self-Employed masterclass. So I might refer to that course in the video at some point, but that's just because it's part of that masterclass where there's a whole module teaching you all the ins and outs about YouTube and how to grow a YouTube channel, how to script videos, how to shoot videos all by yourself and make thumbnails and titles and like all of that stuff. But for this, I just wanted to share this part of it, so how to edit videos. So without further ado, let's roll the tape. Hello there and welcome back. All right, finally we get to start to edit your videos. This is where so much of that movie magic happens. I'm going to show you how you can edit your videos in Adobe Premiere Pro. The reason I've chosen to show you how to edit them in Adobe Premiere Pro is because, well, that is the software that I use. And even though you can definitely start out with something like iMovie or some free software, pretty soon you'll notice that there are a lot of things that you can't do in those free editing software. So that's why I want to show you the basics and the beginner's guide of Adobe Premiere Pro so that you can start to edit your videos immediately. And my experience really is that in the beginning, yes, it's a little confusing, it's a little overwhelming just because there are so many tools in there. But no need to worry, because actually you only need to know really the basics and a few tools to start to make those videos and edit them beautifully. When it comes to editing videos, there are so many tools and so many things that you can do, but I really feel like it's not necessary to spend so much time going really into the details and like explaining every little thing. So we're really gonna go through the most important steps, and I'll show you what kind of workflow is good to have in place when you edit your videos, be that for YouTube or for your website or wherever you want to share your videos. And we're just gonna dive right into it. So step number one is that you want to import that footage, so your video material, from either your camera or from your phone. If you have a camera, you're just gonna take that little memory card out, and I recommend to use an external hard drive for all your video material. copy your video files and then paste them into a new folder. Normally, if I would make a YouTube video, I would always put an episode number there. So for example, episode number 1, my YouTube video, or whatever the title would be. And similarly, if you shot your video material on your phone, just get that over to your external hard drive. So I have an iPhone, so I always just use the AirDrop function. One of the most important things when editing videos is to be very organized with your files. And I'm also saying this to myself because I'm still sometimes a little bit lazy, and you would be surprised how quickly it just gets very messy. You can't find anything, and yeah, it's just chaos. So how I recommend you do it, that you always have a new folder for that video material. So you'll put all your material for that video in this folder. And usually how I like to break it up then is that I have my main talking points. So I'll just put their main talking or something like that on one folder. Then I'll have B-roll in one folder. If I've also shot material on my phone and with my camera, then sometimes I just have a folder called phone. And then if I have some graphics, so some titles, I'll put that in one folder. Then if I have music, or maybe I want to show some photos, I'll have folders for each of those. All right, I've got a little bit of a wonky setup right now because I'm not at home in my own studio. So I have this screen just because it's a little bit bigger than my laptop screen. And then I've got my external hard drive there. And then I have my laptop. So let's see how we're gonna do this. And for the purpose of this video, I've just chosen some old material, and I'm just gonna show you how I would edit that so that you can start to edit your videos. Okay, once you have all your material in neat little folders, let's open up Premiere Pro. When you open Premiere Pro, just click New Project. And here, the first thing you want to do is give a name to your project. So I'm just gonna call this My YouTube Video. And underneath, you can see it says Location. So this is where the project will be. So I suggest that you click Browse, and then you choose that same spot where you have all your video material. So in that same folder. So for us, that it means this one, episode 01, my YouTube video. And I'm gonna choose there. So that's where this project will be. And all of this other stuff, don't even worry about it. Just click OK. All right, so we are now in Adobe Premiere Pro, and as you can see, there is a lot of stuff going on. So let's just do a little quick overview of what the different panels or windows do, and do not worry about memorizing or trying to understand what they do yet. It will all become so much clearer when we actually start to edit, but I just want to sort of break it down for you a little bit. The first thing you'll notice is that when you click on one of these panels or the windows, there is a blue box that appears around it. So that just highlights which panel you are working in. And up here, you can also see these different names. So there's assembly, editing, color, effects, and so forth. And when you click on one of these, the layout of these panels change a little bit. This big window here is called your program monitor. And here is where you'll see your timeline or the sequence that you are building. So the timeline or the sequence is where you start to actually edit your footage and put together clips. Then you also have something called the source monitor up here, and that allows you to only select a part of a clip. So when you only want to use a little part of a clip, and then you can drag that onto your timeline, but I'll show you that later. And then here you have your tools. So these are the tools that you are going to be using when we start to trim and edit your clips. But let's start by coming here to the bottom left corner, and you can see it says here, import media. So let's start there and import our media into our project monitor. So we can import media in many different ways, but we're just gonna go up to File. You're gonna scroll down to Import, and then you'll find that folder with all your footage. And the brilliant thing is that we've already organized our folders. So now we can just go ahead and import them, and they'll be neatly organized in our little project monitor. So you can see here we have our main talking folder, then we have the B-roll folder and the graphics folder. If your window doesn't look quite like this, it might be because you've switched on this icon, so the list view icon. So then it will appear like this. I prefer the icon view, but this is a matter of preference, so whatever you prefer. right, so let's go into our main talking folder, and here you can see some clips of me talking. I really like the icon view because that also means that when you just hover over it, you can sort of see what is going on in the clip, which is super handy, as you'll notice later on. All right, so let's start to build our sequence or timeline. So the timeline or the sequence, it's really the same thing. And we do that by dragging our first clip onto the timeline. And then you can see all these tracks starts to appear and we have our clip there. And sometimes Premiere Pro will ask something like, do you want to match the sequence settings to the clip or something along those lines? And usually you can just click OK. So if the project settings were different than your clip settings, Adobe Premiere Pro just wants to make sure that you want to set the sequence settings to the same as that first clip settings. All right, and now we have the playhead here. So if I start to now drag this playhead over here, it just plays the clip. And you can see that now here in this window of the program monitor, we can see whatever is going on in our timeline. And usually what I recommend to first do is go through all your main talking video footage and do a rough cut. So that's where you get rid of all the mistakes and all the material that you don't want to include in your video. So let's start to trim this first clip. So let's just move the playhead around over here, and then we're going to take the select tool here, and then you can either just drag it like this and you'll see that the clip gets longer or shorter, or you can also use this little razor tool and then you can just cut it like this. Then you can use the select tool, select both the audio and the footage, and just go ahead and delete that. Then by pressing space, or you can press also play, we'll see what the clip actually contains.
Welcome to the Finnish countryside.
All right, so I'm going to stop there. I'll take my razor tool.
Oh, I'm
press
up here.
space.
It's like 25, 30.
All right, and there I start again. So I'm going to take my razor tool, going to use the select tool, and then I'm just going to select that and just delete. Now you might have noticed that when you drag that first clip onto the timeline, there was a duplicate that appeared here in your project window. That is just because Adobe Premiere Pro creates a sequence, so it makes a master sequence in here. So you don't have to worry about that. That is exactly how it's supposed to be. Then we can add some more clips in here and then just go through it and look at what footage we want. Now there is also another way to do this. So for example, if we double click now this clip, you'll see that it appears up here in the source monitor. And you can go through your clip here and just check what you want. And if there's only one space we want, so we want, for example, when I climb up here and we want this to be our in point, then you can click this as a mark in point, and then it will select everything from that point onwards. And then maybe we only want to use this clip, and then you can click mark out. And now when you drag the clip to the timeline, you can see that it will only drag that selection that we just made. Now, let's say we have this clip here and we would like to zoom in a little bit. Then you just select that clip and then you go up here and you have something called effect controls. So when you click that, all these options will appear. So you can click scale and then you can scale this footage up if you want to show maybe a detail of something. Maybe you've shot some B-roll with Instagram using one of the Instagram filters that we talked about. Then what happens when you drag that clip onto your timeline, you'll see that it is rotated the wrong way. So then again, if you click that clip and then go to rotation, then we can set it and fix that. So 270. But it is still way too small because this clip that we shot with Instagram, it's a lesser quality, so it's smaller. So to fix that, we can again click scale and then we can just manually drag it so it fits in our frame. All right, now you can see the clips are on top of each other. And if I want to play this whole clip and I still want to have those clips underneath, one thing you can do so that you don't have to select all the clips here and then drag them all, press A on your keyboard, you'll see that this double arrow appears. Now when I press it like this, it will select everything and drag everything on the timeline to the right. And then again, I click my select tool and then I can just select this clip and now I can get them organized so that they're not on top of each other. And now if we zoom in here, you can see there's still a small little gap. So I again have my select tool, then I press A, the double arrow appears, and then I can just drag it so there is no gap in between. When you are working on creating your rough cut, it quickly becomes pretty difficult to see what is going on in your timeline. So a handy little trick is to select your clip, and then you right click on it, and then you see all these options appearing here. And one option is label. And when you go onto label, you can choose a different color for your clips. And this is super handy just to keep yourself organized and just to see what is going on. Next up, let's start to color grade some of your clips. This is where the fun part starts. So go over here to your project monitor, and you can see here, you have these icons. So you have the new bin icon. So that's just when you want to create a new bin or a folder. And then you have this one, and it says new item. So when you click that, you have all these items that appear. So these will allow you to create a new sequence or new black video. And you also have something called adjustment layer. So click that one, and then it just asks what settings you want. We're just going to click OK. And an adjustment layer is essentially an empty layer. And the good thing about this is that when you then drag this onto your timeline, and then you can just drag it to fit over that clip, nothing has happened. But when we then apply an effect on this adjustment layer, this will affect all the layers underneath it. So let me just show you. So we have now this adjustment layer. We're selecting that, and then you can come over here to effects. So we are in the effects panel and go down to lumetri color, and we're going to click that. And then this all appears, and we can make it a little bit bigger by just dragging it and just organizing our windows a little bit. And now when we go in here to first with basic correction, then you can start to color grade your clips. And we're only color grading the adjustment layer because that means then that we can drag it over all these other clips as well. So let's just do a quick little color grade, and this is a matter of preference, and you really have to see how you like your look to be of your video, and that also depends with what you shot your footage. I usually like to add some saturation, usually also add some exposure, take down the highlights a little bit, take down the whites a little bit. Sometimes I like to crush my blacks a little bit, and usually I don't do anything too dramatic, but for this one I want to have a little bit more contrast, and actually I want to maybe take down the blacks a little bit. And you can also use this one I quite like, so it's called creative, and here you can put the shadow tint, and this one does pretty crazy stuff to your footage. So when you're happy with how it looks, let's just check how it fits on this other clip. And you can see that this clip is a little darker. So we're just going to go and cut and then select and then do some tweaks for this adjustment layer. So I'm just going to raise the shadows a little bit, raise the exposure, take down the highlights slightly, and it's also a little too yellow. So then you can just go and manually tweak it a little bit, the settings for your different clips. Next, let's take a look at adding some graphics to your project. So here on my timeline, I have this little intro clip that I just shot with the Instagram filter, and I want to have a little text on it. So I have my graphics here, and these are graphics that I've just created in Canva. And here I have created my intro graphic, and I'm just gonna drag that onto my timeline. And the way I got it to be transparent is when you save your graphic in Canva, you can choose to save it with a transparent background. All right, but we wanted to have a nice little fade in. So the way we do that is you go up here to effects, and then you see all these different effects, and you click on video transitions, and then all these appears. And we're gonna take a dissolve and gonna choose cross dissolve, and then you can just drag this. So I'm clicking it and then I'm dragging it here, and let's see what that did. nice fade in. And then we also want it to fade out. So again, I'm dragging this effect. So now it should fade nicely in and fades out. And then I want to have my first clip. So when I start to talk, I want it to dip to black. So then I click on dip to black, and then I can just drag that between these two clips.
Hello and welcome to the Finnish country.
I actually recommend to do all your graphics somewhere else and not in Adobe Premiere Pro. There is, of course, a graphics panel here, but I find it very clunky and it's just difficult to get it centered. So usually I do all my graphics either in Photoshop or actually nowadays almost everything in Canva because it's just so much easier. And if you just want to have a text, you can export it from Canva as a PNG file. So that means that the background will be transparent. One of the most powerful ways to add that movie magic to your videos is, of course, by adding some music. Now, if you are going to share your videos on YouTube, it is very important that you use music that is copyright free. Or you could choose something like Adpbe Sound. So if you have an active subscription of Adpbe Sound, you can download unlimited amounts of music and they have sound effects. And Adpbe Sound is what I use for all my YouTube videos, and I really recommend it. They really have a huge catalog of music, and if you'd like to try it out, maybe first you can get a 30-day free trial, and I'm actually an ambassador there, so you can use this link. So you can go to share.epidemicsound.com/kutovakika if you want to try it out first and just listen to what tracks they have. But I have been very happy with Adpbe Sound. All right, so let's add some music tracks. So I'm going to make a new bin or a new folder. I'm going to call it music. Gonna click that and then go to file and then import. And I'm going to import some music tracks. All right, there we have our piece of music. This song is called Scootaloo, and I'm just going to drag it onto the timeline, and let's just see how that looks. Very nice. And then when I start to talk, again, I want to fade the music away. So we're gonna use our eraser tool. I'm gonna drag my playhead to where I want to cut this track. And then I'm going to choose this part. And again, now if you right click, you see that there is audio gain here. Click audio gain, and now you can set the gain to, for example, -30 decibel.
Hello and welcome to...
And then it plays it at a lower level. But of course, we want it to fade in nicely. So then again, you can go up here. You have audio transitions, crossfade, and then we're gonna drag exponential fade here. And then if you just zoom in and make all of this a little bigger, you can also make this fade a little bit bigger, and just it takes a little longer and is a little bit smoother.
Hello and welcome to the Finnish...
Yes, very nice.
Hello.
Well, my friend, now you have all the basic knowledge and tools on how to start to edit your videos. You know how to create a timeline, drag your clips there, add music, color grade, do some nice transitions, and when you are happy with it, we are going to export your video. To export your project, go in here on your timeline and just see that this little bar up here is set to your whole project. So make sure that this little blue playhead aligns with where your movie ends. Then to export, go up to File, scroll down to Export, and click Media. And you will see this window appear. And just make sure that you have output here, scale to fit, and everything looks good. And then up here, you want to have here format H264. And here in preset, if you click that, you'll see all these different settings. And if you are going to share this on YouTube, I just recommend that you choose YouTube 1080 pixels, full HD. And here then you can see that this is the width, this is the height of it. And also I recommend to click this one, use maximum render quality. And here you can see that our project is going to be approximately 582 megabytes. And up here you can see it says output name. And if you click that, you can name this My YouTube Video or whatever title your video is going to be. And I definitely recommend that you do this because then when you upload it to YouTube, you want to make sure that you have that keyword and your title in your video file as well. So then just go ahead and save that and then just click Q. And then Adobe Premiere Pro will open up Media Encoder. And here now we can see our video is ready to go. And then just hit this little green play button and it will start to export our video. And that is really it. So once this video has exported, you have made your first video and you are now able to edit videos in Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, today's video is sponsored by Skillshare, and I actually wanted to give a quick recommendation because maybe after seeing this video, you want to learn more about Adobe Premiere Pro. And on Skillshare, and you might be familiar with Skillshare already, they are an online community with lots of different classes for creators just like yourself. And there are 2 super good classes about Adobe Premiere Pro by Jordi van de Put. And he is really the master and expert of everything Adobe Premiere Pro. And he has one class, which is video editing with Adobe Premiere Pro for beginners, which really breaks it all down. And after you've watched that class, you pretty much know everything there is to know. And then there is also an advanced class that you can take if you want to get even deeper. So if you want to check those out, they are on Skillshare, and the first thousands of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial that you can check out, and you can watch these classes with Jordi van de Put. So just click the link in the description below to check those classes out. All right, I'm so glad that you're still here. This is a long video, but as you can see, it's really not that difficult to edit videos. There are not that many things that you need to know in order to get started. So if you're thinking about getting into videos more and starting a YouTube channel, I would definitely encourage you to go for it and really put an emphasis on learning and discovering things for yourself and not be that concerned with getting discovered yourself in the beginning, because that will come with time. And yeah, I hope you found this video valuable. I would love to know if you have an idea or if you're already doing YouTube videos in the comment below, and share your YouTube channel name so I can come and see it and we can come and check out your videos. All right. And also remember to subscribe and like this video if you found it helpful, and maybe share it with a friend or somebody who you know is kind of into videos if you found this helpful. And I will see you again soon. Bye.